News coming in right now. It's a massive setback for former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, in the liquor gate case. Manish Sisodia's bail plea before the Supreme Court has been rejected. So Manish Sisodia does not get bail. Remember, there were two orders that were expected today. One in the case of his arrest by the CBI, one in the arrest by the Enforcement Directorate. Manish Sisodia, in fact, had been first arrested by the CBI on February 26 earlier this year in the liquor policy case. It was alleged that the excise policy had been changed on the basis of demands made by a liquor lobby, and kickbacks were then given to public servants. Anisha Mathur is joining me for more on this. Anisha, tell us what happened in court.
Well, a very brief judgment in the Supreme Court today. The detailed verdict, of course, will come out by afternoon. But the Supreme Court has dismissed the bail plea filed by Manish Sisodia. What is also more worrying for Manish Sisodia and the Aam Aadmi Party is that the court has noted that the money trail, the money transfers of several crores have been established by the Enforcement Directorate. So Manish Sisodia's plea that there was no monetary transaction, that there was nothing that could be attributed to him, that seems to have been dismissed by the Supreme Court. Several other questions of law had been raised in this particular matter, with the Supreme Court itself questioning why the kind of investigation that has happened. All of that, the court has said some of these questions have been answered, some have not. But for now, Manish Sisodia will not get bail. In fact, the court had said that the trial is expected to conclude within 6 to 8 months. But if the trial is moving sloppily or slowly, then Manish Sisodia could come back to the Supreme Court with a fresh bail application, because he has already remained in jail since February this year. But for now, Manish Sisodia, Aam Aadmi Party leader, will remain in jail. And more importantly for Sisodia and for other leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, the court has noted that a money trail has been established. So clearly, this is going to create more trouble, not just for Manish Sisodia, but for the other persons who have been named in the investigations by the CBI and by the Enforcement Directorate. It is now a big setback for Manish Sisodia, also because the ED had told the Supreme Court that they are looking into other leaders as well as the party itself. This could also spell trouble for the Aam Aadmi Party, spell big trouble for the Aam Aadmi Party, given that the ED and CBI have told court that they are investigating further. So very clearly, despite the big setback to Manish Sisodia, the bigger question is now for the party itself, that where will this investigation go next? Back to you.
Right. So aside from the blow, of course, Anisha, that Manish Sisodia got in terms of his bail plea, which has been dismissed, there are two parts to it. One probably good news, one probably bad news. Bad news, of course, is that the court has accepted that a money trail of 366 crores has been established as per the arguments which were put forth by the agencies and their counsels. But there is the aspect that trial needs to be concluded within 6 to 8 months. And if Mr. Sisodia feels that that trial is proceeding forward sloppily, he can again move for bail. So the agencies will have to ensure now that they proceed forward in this case as fast as possible. They can't drag it on.
Well, yes, Paulami, very clearly the Supreme Court has said that if in 3 months Manish Sisodia believes that the trial is not proceeding properly, or it's been going too slowly, or is going sloppily, then he can file a bail petition again after 3 months. But also clearly the court has said that the trial must conclude within 6 to 8 months from now. But with the investigation of the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI still ongoing, we've seen the arrest also of Sanjay Singh in this particular matter. The ED and CBI had both also told the Supreme Court that they are conducting further investigation, which could also look into the role of the party itself. That is going to be the bigger concern now for the Aam Aadmi Party. But of course, for Manish Sisodia personally, the no bail, big setback from the court. As the court says, a money trail has in fact been established, and that is going to be a big trouble for him, even when he comes back in 3 months asking for bail, because remember, the PMLA provisions are very clear that to get bail in a PMLA case, one has to establish that there is no case against them, or prima facie, there are no direct allegations against the person concerned. But here, if the court is accepting that a money trail has been established, and we will get more details on what the court has said once the detailed judgment copy is released, very clearly this is going to be trouble for Sisodia and for the Aam Aadmi Party. Back to you.
Absolutely. Anisha, stay on with us. Please gather more details as to what happened in court. Munish Pandey, my colleague who tracks the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI for us, is joining us as well. What are your sources within the agencies telling you, Munish? Because it must be a shot in the arm for the agencies that are investigating this liquor policy scam, with the Supreme Court, of course, specifically saying that a money trail, transfer of money, has been established.
Absolutely, and I spoke to my sources within the Enforcement Directorate and the Central Bureau of Investigation, and officials who are investigating the case. They are saying that it's a big win for them, because remember, not only by Supreme Court but earlier by the trial court and the High Court, the bail of Manish Sisodia was rejected in both the cases, in the case of Central Bureau of Investigation and also in the case of Enforcement Directorate. Now, as far as Enforcement Directorate is concerned, remember what they are claiming, that some of the points which have gone against Manish Sisodia is the evidence presented by the agencies. Now, the first one was destruction of evidence, because remember, ED was the first agency to file a charge sheet against Manish Sisodia, saying that more than 14 phones were used by Manish Sisodia, and some of the phones were destroyed. Now, this evidence was not only presented before the court, but also there was an evidence to prove that those phones were destroyed. Also, there was a money trail established in this case, and that is why, according to sources, Manish Sisodia's bail has been rejected by the top court of country.
Okay, so that's an aspect, of course, that the agencies will be using proceeding forward as far as the trial of this case is concerned, because the Supreme Court has said something very categorically. Shehzad Poonawala, BJP national spokesperson, is over the phone line with us right now. Not only is it a big setback for Mr. Manish Sisodia that his bail plea has been dismissed, the Supreme Court also has said, Shehzad, that money trail, transfer of money, has been established.
Satyamev Jayate, and after this order and judgment by the Supreme Court, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has no moral standing to continue as Chief Minister. He must immediately resign, because he was defending Mr. Manish Sisodia as Kattar Imandar. He has defended Sanjay Singh as Kattar Imandar. He has defended Vijay Nair as Kattar Imandar. None of them are getting relief from courts of law. And the Aam Aadmi Party was saying this was a vindictive exercise because there was no money trail. If you remember, all their spokespersons have come out and done press conference. The way the Supreme Court has answered this question, saying that a tentative money link of about 338 crores has been established. And therefore, in view of this, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who is the kingpin of this entire Sharab Ghotala, who has been defending all these accused and other Sharab mafias, should immediately and should ask that what is his role in the entire Sharab Ghotala.
Right. Shehzad, thank you so much for joining us with your first comments on that order from the Supreme Court. Also, thank you to my colleagues Munish and Anisha, who brought us all those details from the court and the agencies.